recording. All right. Welcome everyone to another XAFers community stand-up, the first one for 2023. Today, basically, we're going to do something different. Of course, we're going to show a little bit of code or some demo, but the main point here is we're going to discuss what are we waiting for XAF to deliver in 2023, what we have already had in 2022, and pretty much share our experience of and roadblocks of everything that we have seen in this space so far. Before we start, as always, I'm going to let Dave and Hoch introduce themselves, and then let's start discussing XAF 2022 and what are we waiting for XAF 2023 before they release the roadmap. Let's see how accurate we are and what we think that is going to come up.
Okay, I'll start first. So, well, I guess everyone in this meeting know me already. My name is Hoch Ojeda. I'm a DevExpress MVP. On the technical part, I'm an aficionado for Linux type OS, and I do most of the research for deploying .NET applications on Linux type OS. So if you ever have any doubt, you can contact me on Twitter, on Facebook, or any of the other electronic platforms. So Dave, your turn.
Thank you. Yeah, Dave from Llama Chat Technology. I've been using XAF since 2007, 2008 when it was originally released. We do training, custom development, and consulting. That's
Nice.
it for me.
Okay, guys. So, XAF lesson. We have been going through the new and shiny platform from XAF for, I would say, like almost 2 years, year and a half, something. And we have a lot done, but we still have a little bit to get there. So the first thing that I want to cover is like, let's briefly go about the roadmap of 2022. And then we're gonna start discussing what you guys have encountered that we are still missing for 2023. Let me unmute and put the participants here so I can see if there is someone else on the waiting room. All right, so XAF 2022, what did we have and what do they deliver? Basically, we are going to be seeing that there was a new DX editor that is already have the server support and custom calculated field, column resizing, performance enhancement, column chooser, all that is already out of the box. I want to mention that I think that that's another part, but in the export of the grid, we are still only constrained to the client mode, but that's pretty sure that is coming. Main menu toolbar enhancement. If you see the sizing and the look and feel is getting better. Bootstrap 5 support. All of those is already there for you. The runtime form layout customization from a user. This is postponed for 2023. We're gonna see let's see the little nice GIF that we have here. Let's go to this is basically the main idea that we're gonna be able to do something similar to what we have on Windows, that we're going to be able to change a caption's name or change any type of customization. If you see there, even moving the order of the field. So this is something that is still not done. They are waiting for feedback. So if you are really interested in that, please leave a comment probably in this same post, put a +1 there, and let's see what happens. Then we have a migration to the DevExpress themes. And right now we have the new render size with a compact size, and this is looking pretty good. In UI for Windows, we have the Entity Framework Core 5 for data access, and they are going to be updating to all the other Core 7 and Core 6. So right here, we have still a long way to go in Entity Framework Core, but I think that is looking pretty good. Jan Paul has a lot of really nice tickets on the support center where he talks about the fair deletion, concurrency, and so on. I don't know if he's on the participants today, but probably. Okay. And we have the middle tier application server for .NET. So we have a lot of things here. We also have the API that it has been one of the most, I think, useful features that they have come up in the near past with a lot of things. Right now, they even have reports, they have metadata objects. So this is looking great, and a lot of great feedback from all our clients and students we have seen. also the simplified SAF structure. One thing that I really like about this simplified SAF solution structure is that it was developed in a way that if you don't need to use the agnostic module because you are only going to be using Blazor, you can delete the agnostic module. You don't need it. You can put all your controllers, everything you need in just one project, and you're good to go. So that's especially for everything that in the new .NET is moving, like MAUI, single project. Everything is moving to just one project here. If you are not targeting Windows and web, just delete everything there. Just keep your Blazor server project. You're good to go. Besides that, of course, the builders for Windows as well. This is making really nice to have a common approach, a fluent way to like declare your modules, even and something really similar for Blazor and Windows. So I'm really liking this Fluent API syntax. Model editor has gotten a little of love as well. Data sources that are getting more available, like unit and functional tests. Let's continue. There have been a lot of code and project error diagnostic. We did a whole meetup just going over all of them, and even after that, they have been more included on the documentation. New database connection provided for XPO, and I want to stop for a second on this because they have been, I have seen in the support center a lot of like discussion, a lot of back and forward about the announcement that XPO is a mature ORM, that they are not going to be doing substantial development effort on XPO, and that we're going to be suggesting or recommending Entity Framework to be the default ORM. Let me say just this, like XPO got a lot of love last year. Like one of the years that I have seen that most things happen on XPO was last year. There was a new XPO connection provider, and we have done a few of those, and we know the amount of work that you need to do to make sure that they support every scenario for SAP HANA. This was greatly requested, and there is also support for the latest version of Postgres, and there is a lot of more things. XPO is not going anywhere, so feel free to even start your new projects with it. I do agree that Entity Framework Core will be little by little because they have a more bigger community. Like, and we're gonna be seeing more of our clients using it, but don't be afraid to continue to use XPO. Now, I would like to
I will
yeah.
cut you off a little bit there because also in some personal way, I get a lot of questions about the same idea that is it time to start with a new XPO solution? And I guess it's still the same. I mean, as you just said a minute ago, that the idea about giving more love to Entity Framework is that Entity Framework is a bigger market. And I guess it will make sense also for people who have developed their applications using a normal approach, not an application framework, but they already have the Entity Framework ORM developed for their application to move it to XAF. But I think that it's basically something like a honeypot to try to get more attention to SAF by associating it to a bigger or more spread ORM. But for me, Entity Framework is, I mean, the design pattern is amazing, the new one. And there is a special support for some cases that are difficult to do with XPO. For example, JSON columns are some things that are now really easy to support in Entity Framework. So, and those are a little bit complicated to do in XPO. I tell this from experience because I did a Postgres provider that handles JSON columns. Also, I did the same for SQL Server. So I know that for me, one of the reasons that is that can be a little bit different XPO and Entity Framework is the support for JSON columns. That's one of the main points in Entity Framework is unified. In XPO, you have to develop your own way on each database provider. So I think that here I will choose Entity Framework if I already have the ORM developed for another application, and then I wanted to move to XAF UI. And if not, I will continue with XPO.
I also want to mention also for developers like us that we have done XPO most of the time. there are a lot of things in Entity Framework that are like not there for us. Like persistent alias is not there for us. We have to do all the migrations that, yeah,
Yes,
that's how
the
I feel.
migrations, to be honest, is
That's how I
my-
feel. Besides that, everything else is on the Entity Framework world, like again, soft deletion, concurrency. If we have to do some type of the clone module is still not there for Entity Framework, and basically the request is just look for ways that Entity Framework handles that. So it's a whole work that we're getting into. Again, I think that is a good, but I think that at least for us it will take a little bit. I will show a little bit more that even Adam was suggesting to them, like, and they will put it in the, I'm pretty sure soon, some type of documentation of like features from XPO, how they match to features from Entity Framework, like XP Query or XP View, or how do you handle all of those? And I'm seeing a message from Jean Paul that he says 5 lines of code in Entity Framework for clone, and I believe him, like definitely, but again, it's not the territory that we're used to. So we always have to come back to that. In XPO, you know it right from the top of your head. So let's throw this on the screen. And from here, people, I appreciate you guys put comments on the chat and tell me what are you missing. So SAF 2023, and this is somehow move here. Okay. First and foremost, scheduler. Everyone wants to have the scheduler out of the box. They have been asking for that. We have our own implementation done in view items and done in property editor, but definitely there are some corner cases. There are some cases where we're working with resources on things that have become a little bit cumbersome. I have a video on my YouTube channel about the filter criteria property editor, where you have like the nice UI that we're used to in Windows, and then you can select all your fields from your class, from your object type info, and right there you can basically do any type of criteria, but we don't have that. And honestly, on the support center, they say that that have not been requested a lot. So that means that it's probably not going to be in the next couple months, or even probably doesn't make it in this year's roadmap. So we'll see when they release the roadmap of what we have in the grid. The exporting server mode, we still are missing in there. Right here, the XPO versus Entity Framework sheet for the comparison of everything. We also, the acing out the trail, we have all the methods there, but we don't have still the complete support. It seems that the task was a little more involved than we expected. Image on the tabs or on the view items, like all those documentation Entity Framework code that they are building, the splitter in master detail mode. Right now we're doing it in code, but that should be coming soon. And we already took the preview of runtime form layout customization for an user. So these are just throw a couple out there from the top of my head. The most, like, I'm pretty sure recurrent in all our meetings are conversation with clients and students. So what else do you guys have that you have seen that is not working, that you guys are doing manually, that we might are missing here? Let's add it here and probably take a screenshot of this and put it on the Facebook channel for more people to comment, everyone who was not able to make it here. Jean Paul is saying Entity Framework Core 7 support. Absolutely. Let's add it here. Actually, yes. What else? Hoche, what comes to mind? I did a mute.
Yeah, sorry. I lost the window. So, well, for me, I think the most requested is the scheduler, but already is there in the list. I would like to get some example regarding how to handle metadata in Entity Framework. That's more related to the ORM, because, for example, in XPO, you have this example of, okay, how to extend the ORM on runtime. So how that will be handled in the Entity Framework side.
Okay, so Gustavo put add button to list view column chooser. can you expand a little more on that? Like, where is the button?
Well, it's the add button, I think, right? So you go to
Yes,
column
yes.
chooser. Yeah, you don't have the choice to choose other columns that are nested.
Got
Like
it.
to span the tree to get the related objects.
Got it.
I'd love to
I
jump
have a-
back to the. Sorry, I want to
Yes,
jump back to the.
sorry, go ahead, Dave.
You sure? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to jump back to the scheduler for a second and just know what the features are of the schedule that people are kind of waiting for. Is it recurrent? Is it timeline view? Is it multiple resources? Kind of where?
Notifications.
Yeah. What are the priorities for people? Because the scheduler module is a very complex module. It does a lot of supporting in the Windows and the ASP web forms currently. So.
Okay, anyone who wants to jump in, feel free to do it.
Well, I have a huge request, but I guess they have asked this thousands of times before, and I kind of know the answer is like to have the model editor as a separate netcore application, so you can go and use it in the Mac, for example. Because for me, I'm using Mac right now, and every time I need to do a change in the model, I need to commit, go to a Windows computer, do the change, and then send it back. So I will have to start to have a standalone Net 7 editor, model editor, so I can use it in different OS. In Linux is the same case, right? You cannot use it. Or if you're using Raider.
I'm not sure you're gonna get that, Jose. That
No,
to be just a request
it's a
just
hint,
for you and 3 more people. That's it.
Yeah, but it's
Well, I will put it. I
it's
will put it there. I'll put it there. You see, Jean Paul say Blazor version. That would be nice. Okay, resources.
Yeah, with a Blazor version, it will be enough.
And recurring events. So we do have the scheduler model working, but it's a simple version. It's not like really comprehensive. It's for a auto repair shop. They have base, and in those base they basically like can schedule different type of service to the car, or a change, or just some transmission flush or things like that. But that's pretty much it. It doesn't go too more in depth. So it works for when you need, but when it gets more comprehensive, probably we'll have to do more customization there.
Yeah, we've done about 3 or 4 custom implementations of the scheduler so far in different projects. So
nice.
To be honest, today before the meeting started, I got 2 requests for that. So imagine how popular is that module.
It's so hard to. We offer the LlamaChamp framework, which is a predefined set of modules that kind of add on to the existing modules. We haven't even touched the Blazor side yet for our modules, because we know there's so much coming from DevExpress over the next year or so. We don't want to put something out that's then going to be overwritten by default functionality. So that's why we're waiting.
And it makes sense. It's just like I think that pretty sure all these like I'm not DevExpress, but they put all these surveys just to learn what people are using more, what are they getting stuck in more. So it would be nice to hear for everyone, like if they are trying to use this module, what they have encountered, what do they have been able to implement themselves really easy. Because we were discussing that. I'm pretty sure the criteria property editor, most of people want it, but they can get by real quick. They can create their criteria themselves without having to. So there are things that, yeah, it would be nice to have it right away, but we can get by in the meantime. So all right. So that's what we have so far. If you guys have more, okay, API support for paginations, let me add it here.
We were talking with JP about that, more about creating the code to do the paginations, because you have to do it by hand all the time. So in this case, to fix that problem, you have to make a custom endpoint and then handle the pagination yourself. So I guess it would be nice to have it out of the box. Mhm.
Yeah, of course.
That's what he meant.
I will add here. We have done this ourselves, list editors, the data access mode. We need to put clients, and we need to, like, we have done the pagination ourselves. We have made sure that we load the data on demand, but it will be nice to have the documentation for all the other modes, all other modes, server, data view, and so on, because all custom list editor in Blazor are on client. So all right.
Can I ask what the issue is with the paging on the web API? Like when you create your custom implementation of that, are you passing in the paging request as part of the URL?
Yes, basically what you do, you put it as a parameter in general. You make a custom endpoint, because in the documentation there is a way to, they say, okay, if you want to create your own method that returns whatever you want, it's not like you send the normal methods that they have, do it like this way. So then you put a set of parameters like how many you want per page and which page you want, and then you put in the data and return the values. But also you can enter in serialization problems that you have to do the serialization to return the right amount of data, because you know that in XPO it's difficult to serialize sometimes, that you can end up serializing all the three. So so it will be good to have out of the box, like for each entity, you have a method that accepts the page number and the items per page value.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Well, Javier, maybe it's time for
all right. Before we move to the technical example, I think if you guys while we are still here, remember anything else, just let me know. I want to add it here, make a picture, put it on the site and the Facebook group, and see if people like comment anymore. That way we have more data to provide. So one thing that I want to mention, one of the also our goal for 2023 is to grow the community. We have grown the community a lot, and we can see that our Facebook group now has, let's take a look quickly, 2,500 members. So I'm really happy about that. I remember when it was Hochi and myself only. So this is just really, really, really nice. Our LinkedIn group also has like I think 3,000. Let's take a look right away. Like almost 3,000 members. Our SAF is growing on followers. So we have more and more people using it, especially for SAF Blazor. And right here in all these three, mainly because we have a Gitter channel that it has been like not being used so much, but you will, like, if you follow these three, you will be up to date with everything new, because we try to like everything new that is happening on SAF, like someone will post it there. You also can ask questions. You also can talk about. So one of the things that we want to continue to do is grow the community of SAF. More people know the benefits that we have with our framework. So that being said, I want to mention a couple ideas or suggestions that we have got from our clients, and that we are also thinking ourselves from our students as well, right here. So I saw this, this is happening for DevOps. The Jeffrey Palermo is one of the Microsoft MVP that I follow a lot. He has a really nice podcast, Azure DevOps, and he's got something similar to this. Is like an architecture gathering. What does that mean? That means that like we can be sometimes taking decisions of how we're gonna do our application, how we're gonna design it, what will be the architecture, how we're gonna do testing, how we're gonna do stability, how we're gonna do continuous integration. And a lot of times in our, like, I'm really privileged that I can reach out to Hoche, I can reach out to Dave, I can reach out to Adam, I can have people that are doing, but a lot of time I'm pretty sure, I remember when I used to work by myself, you don't have that peer-to-peer that you can ask, hey, how would be the best architecture to do? So we were thinking of doing some type of gathering, like something small, maximum 10 people, and we can do a couple if there is a lot of demands, let's see, and have a face-to-face, not cameras off, and everyone, if they have a questions, if they have like something that they are struggling with their system, we will be more than happy to have a broad level discussion of how we go about that, how we go about integration testing, how we go about things that, because about hosting, about clouds, about everything we want. I think that that will give us a place for you to have, because sometimes we don't have that in our company. We don't have that peer-to-peer. So that will be really nice. Babar, let me just finish this and I will give you the mic if you want to ask a question. The second one is for developers. So instead of having to do like a whole architecture design, just talking about more day-to-day development, how they did it, but just like a discussion, there is not our idea here, and we're still massaging the idea, will be having no recording of the meeting. So you can talk freely, no one, like, it's just to be able to have some peers once a month or something like that. And we also have a request that I want to also see, that we want to do like an in-person training or some type of summit in person. So probably starting in the US and maybe later, depending on how it goes, moving to Europe or something like that. So throwing that out there, you guys feel free to email us if you, what do you guys think about that? I want to get a little feedback before we start putting things in place, but that's the idea that we are cooking for this 2023. With that being said, Babar, please let me know what question you have, and then we move to a technical example. Jose want to show an issue that he's having with his Mac development.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Jose, for giving me a chance. Actually, I don't know if my question is out of context or not. Can you hear me, guys?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, is there any proper platform where we can find proper jobs of XAF, especially? I have been working for last 2 years with XAF Blazor and XAF WinForms and XAF Web as well. So is there a proper platform where we can find jobs and proper long-term jobs of XAF?
Yeah, so we used to the website XAFer Jobs. It was the place like a couple of years back, but that has not gotten too much traction. So it's not being used right now too much. So I think that basically about just if it's XAF related, just post it on the group on the LinkedIn and on Facebook on the group, and if someone needs, so they know that you are actively looking for that, and that's it. I don't know if Dave or Hoche have another idea, but honestly, right now, I don't think that there is a proper place for XAF jobs.
For me, I would say that the most active group is the Facebook group from all the platforms. So I guess there is the place to be. If you want to say like, I'm a SAP developer with X amount of experience, and also I work for Blazor specifically, or for Windows Forms or Web Forms, whatever it is, I will post it there. And most of the requests also that when people need a developer are posted there. So I think that's the place to
Also, I will just mention that if it's SAF, that's perfect. That's what we're looking for. But I have seen people just advertising broadly about anything we do, video we do, that we are not looking for anything. This group is for SAF, so feel free to post it there.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Hoche, you wanna go for it?
Okay, it's time to go to the strange problems that happen when you're not using Windows. Okay, so is anyone, I mean, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so basically last days of last year, I moved to an Apple computer because I travel a lot, and like MacBook Airs are really small, and I have before that, I was using a gaming machine that just the charger is twice as heavy as the MacBook Air. So it was easier to move to a smaller computer. So, and the first thing that I will do, like with any new OS, any new computer, see how .NET runs, right? So, well, I started to try to decide what can I use now that I'm in macOS. Visual Studio Code is kind of so-so. I like it. It's decent enough. It's not, if you ask me, like, I think Visual Studio, the normal one, is the best one. But, well, there is Visual Studio Code and there is Rider for Mac. So I basically test all of them. There are no difference between, I mean, Visual Studio Code and Rider are Visual Studio for Mac and Rider are the most comprehensive regarding features. Then you have Visual Studio Code, which is some type of notepad. So, well, regarding the code development, it was the same in all of them. But when it was time to run the application, and this can happen in any .NET application, not only on SAF applications, you will get an error just when you try to run the application. And the error that you will get is one of the errors that we researched at the beginning when Blazor started. I remember I was visiting Javier when we realized that when you run a Blazor application, a SAF Blazor application, or any Blazor application in a Linux server, you will get this error. This basically is a component that is used for drawing in different OS, even in Windows, is using for drawing. So in here I wrote, this was October 2020, I think. Yes. So basically in here I explain you the reason why this is happening and how to fix it in Linux. Basically it's a command. You just install the libgdd plus, and after that it will just run. So in the end, the same happens on the Mac OS when you're using an M1 or M2 processor. So there is a few articles about that in Developer Express. Most of them are related to reports, or something else is not related to SAF, but that will happen in SAF also. Here in this ticket, they say that they're using a M1 Mac with JetBrains, and when they try to run the application, they get the same error that I show you. And well, of course, the solution is the same as it was in Linux, is you need to install this library. So in Mac, what you use is Homebrew. Homebrew is a package manager for Mac OS. Basically, it's the same idea of the package manager for Linux, but is for Mac OS in this case. So in here they tell you, okay, this is the command to install the libgdd plus. So you just copy this and run it in the console, and basically that's part of the fix. But after you do that, Mac OS will still not recognize where the library is. So I had to dig like further. In here in the ticket, they explain like, okay, you can copy the libraries to the folder. That's a no solution, to be honest. It's kind of complicated, and there is a lot of files there. So in the end, you can use proving paths. This solution didn't work for me, but the most stable way to fix this is, let's go to the studio. So this is the application that I published. That is the one that creates your Linux services for a Blazor application or ASP.NET Core application. So in here, what you do is, okay, what's happening is that you're not able to read the path where those libraries are in the OS. So then it means that you can fix that with an environment variable. So in here, if you go to properties of the server, of the Blazor server, you can go to launch settings. And here you can add an environment variable. For example, this is the one that I just added in this case. So then you write the path where the libraries are living. So this is the path. Or you can do that from the UI also. If you go to here, you see that there is 2 environment variables. So after doing that, you are basically able to run this application. I will stop this and just compile it and run it. It's something that most people will not face, but if you are using Mac as your main development environment, this will happen all the time. Every time that you do .NET new SAF Blazor application, this will happen. So, okay, this is running. Let's go to the output here. And let's get the address. Oh, it doesn't want to scroll down. But anyway, I think I have it running here. Let's reload this to see if it's running. And okay, this is the SAF application running in macOS in M2 processor. So what I will do is, since maybe you remember that if we go to NuGet org, and then you have SAF Blazor, there is a template, right, that I created for everyone that is not using Windows and everyone that is using the CLI. So this one is based on an old template of a SAF application. So in the new version, the 104, is going to be based on the 2203 application template. And I will include those little fixes for Net 7, for Linux, and for macOS. So there will be a new version of the SAF Blazor template for the CLI command. So that's everything on my side, Javier. I guess it was a really cryptic example, but it's always useful to have it.
Nah, I am pretty sure that the other person or the other 2 persons that are doing Blazor with Mac, they're gonna be really happy. They will be really happy about that. Okay, I'm gonna show you a little bit then example on my side. Okay, let's run it and then let's go from there. Give it a second. All right, so we have this filter criterion class, and in that one, we're gonna have basically an object type. If you select an object type, any of the ones that are on the application right now, application user, department, employee, whatever, that you will have this in this criterion string property, you will have this button with plus sign, this UI. And then you basically click on it, add a condition, and then you can see here, like we are getting the type info of that class and we're getting all the members, and then we can even do a nested if it's we are only supporting now 2 nested levels, no more than that, but basically that's it. You can check what are the properties, and then you can take here, and depending of this property, you will have here, like this is a string, is equal, not equal, but if we select here birth, you will have greater than or equal, so you will be able to select whatever you want, and then if you see even the editor, besides that, it will change, and then you can say, okay, let's do this one, and if you see right away, it's creating your criteria right there. We can add another one. We can say, okay, street equals main. Every country has a main street. Then we can add another one. Let's see, department type. This will be an item. You have a lookup with the property that you want. And you can see that right there is creating the criteria that you need to use. And you can save it and use it any other place. You can open this filter criterion in a pop-up that automatically take the object type from the current object that you are, and then you have all the same behavior. So of course you can change here and or not and not or. This is by no means comprehensive, but it's a way to show that filter criteria editor is actually something that we can develop ourselves. I think that that's why maybe in the support center they say that there is not a huge amount of tickets. So that's the main idea. Now, with that being said, let's just review. And if you see, let's go to the Solution Explorer. We have our filter criterion class that it will have our property editor right here. And then we can go, we have like all the 4 levels that we would need, or property editors, or model, or adapter, or render. In our render, you can go and check what is the component that we're using. If we go to the component that we're using, then you see that basically we have, if the target type is not null, then we're going to have a button, then we're going to have the first level criteria if we have children's, and then basically we have a drop down that the body template is a view, a DX3 view. So basically you see we are just using pure Blazor, using all our Blazor component from DevExpress and building the UI, depending of what is the type of the member property, what is the object type. So we are getting all that from metadata, constructing UI, and from there constructing all criteria. So pretty, I won't say simple because it was a little like a lot of small things here and there, but I think that is a really nice solution, and I think that is at least something that we can use while the Express bring the out of the board. And also, I think that was what I wanted to show. Just a brief. I don't want to go too crazy into all the implementation, but basically that's the main idea. But I'm really excited to now pass the screen. I think that Dave want to show something cool and won't spoil it, so he will get to it, and you guys will be surprised and amazed.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so if anybody used the Logify service from DevExpress for a while, you knew it was pretty handy. And then they shut that down due to, I think it was due to lack of people taking it up. I don't know if it's cost-based, what the case may be, but we certainly missed the ability to go and find all of our exceptions in one place. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Perfect. So we're introducing the Llama logger provided by us. It works for any .NET application to kind of manage your exceptions in one central place. Our website is not live yet. This is under construction currently. But basically, you know, we're offering right now a private beta invite. So if you're interested in being part of the beta, shoot me an email. It's dave@lamachant.com, or just go to our website, lamachant.com, and hit the contact there. But the idea is that with a few lines of code, you can put all of your tracing exceptions into the Llama loggers. So you're going to come in here, create yourself an organization. You're going to add a project and get an API key attached to that project. And then basically with 2 or 3 lines of code, you're now logging here. So everything comes in here, every exception we create. So you can see a whole bunch I have here for this particular application. And then as you go into them, let me find like a member not found. You can come and see the details, you know, sit and star that to look at it later, or dismiss if it's not important. You can create rules so that as you start getting the same exception over and over again, you just ignore them. You don't need to see it all the time. It really helps you get ahead of your exception curve. So when people are, you know, complaining that something's not working right in the application, at that point, it's kind of too late. If you get the notification ahead of time, you can be proactive about fixing your exceptions and getting your application working properly. On top of that, you can also attach custom data. So you can say, hey, here's the user this exception came from. Here's the machine. Here's its IP address. Whatever you choose, you can pop that into custom data. You can also add attachments. So if you want to say, hey, give me a screenshot of the user's computer if you're using a WinForms application. Or you could say, you know, give me the last 1,000 lines of the log file, so I know exactly what they were doing. You can add those attachments here as well and view them in one spot. So this is coming. We have about 6 clients on it right now in kind of private alpha. So we are moving to private beta before we go full beta. So if anybody's interested in trying this out, please just let me know. And we'll get you an invite for basically now until the end of March as a trial.
That looks amazing, Dave. I did use Logify, and I was sad to see them leave. I don't know why, because I think that it was good in price-wise. It was even better than Raygun or all the other ones that we have used, and it has a really nice UI and comprehensive. But this is looking awesome. I even like I really like the logo and the name Llama Logger. That sounds awesome. Jan Paul is asking Dave, is Yamachan hosting the login or can I host my own?
We are hosting everything at this point. That being said, if you want to put a custom sync in place to also integrate with like a CRM or something, you could certainly do that as well. Any other questions about that?
No, I think that's it. I think that looks really nice. And it's,
all right, I'll go ahead and stop my
that's a really important tool. Like one thing that you see that is lacking a lot of system is correct logging, correct testing. So this gives you a lot of save you a lot of time when you're trying to find out that error that you don't know where it's coming from. You can just jump into the logs and get it figured out. All right. So Hocho, do you want anything else you want to show?
No, the other had the demo effect, so it didn't compile like just before to showing it. So I guess it will be for the next time.
Got it. So I'm gonna show one last demo, and I think that today we're gonna call it a day early, starting 2023. Please comment on the Facebook and the LinkedIn when we share the picture of the what are we waiting for 2023. I think that there are a few more things that we're not thinking of right now. I'm pretty sure that I will add more things later. Okay, we'll do the same. We'll go back from the UI to discuss. It's coming. All right, basically what I want to show here is like a tree list in a list editor. Basically, this was even before 20.2, so we don't have the master detail mode, list view, detail view in that moment. So basically, this is all dashboard view. So we have here a list view on the top, a detail view right behind, and then we have to the right another list view that is a list editor, that is a tree view. So these are the possibilities that we have with SAF. We can integrate any control, and basically you see here that we can, and here. We are not connecting this between each other. This is that was the first phase, but then we use the component voice. I think that I have a video on my channel that you can use a component voice and call from the tree list to the list view and from the control to the other place. So basically, this is just a quick, nice prototype showing that tree list that we are also waiting for that module. We can implement it ourselves, and it's just using the regular component from the expression. Right here you see we have all the things. Right here we have a hard code because it was a proof of concept, but this is getting the data from anywhere. So that's it, something simple, something quick, just to show the possibilities. If anyone else have another question, this is your moment. I think that if you are developing in Mac and you run through the issue that Jose had, you can solve it. I think that you guys should email Dave to get access to that private beta. I think that will be actually really nice. And please, again, all feedback about the growing the community and what we need to push DevExpress towards in the development of SAF Laser 2023. All right, if that's it, okay, see you guys.
No, hold on, the picture.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so let's see. This will be with the computer, so everyone that want to show themselves, like turn off the camera. So 1, 2, 3, and again 1, 2. Okay, there will have more people. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on, there is one more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you guys.
Hey, thank you, everyone. See you next one.
Thanks, take care.